Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to True Sim Productions. I am your host, Winston Deal from the WD Broadcasting Network. We are back with the All-Star Racing League for the second night in a row. Once again at the Rockingham Speedway, back for the season opener for the Chestnut Hill Late Model Series. So last night we saw the super late models. Tonight we're going to see the late model stock cars. We'll try and get the overlay reloaded on the left side of your screen right now. On the racetrack, Connor J. Lee in the 8 machine. Brian Voss able to go the fastest so far in the 55 machine. Roland Collette second in the 82. Not too far behind. Brandon Elvis going third. Dalton Creech in the 36 machine, making his qualifying run out of turns 3 and 4, lap number 1. We'll see where he stacks up on his first time around. 12th place with a 26.10. Lap number 2 here for Creech. He's currently scored in the 14th spot. 17 cars have made an effort here in qualifying. Still 4 cars left to go. Creech, lap number 2 at the line. 5th quick with a 25.69. Chris Smith on track. Lap number 1 in the 9th spot with a 25.72. Brian Gravel jumping up to the 2nd spot in the 0.5. Chris Smith, lap number 2, working his way through turns 3 and 4. At the stripe, 2nd lap around. A little bit quicker, 6th position, 25.68 for Smith. Times are really close here. Only 0.3 through the top 15. As more drivers continue to make times. Scotty Oliver in the 18 machine. Lap number 1 at 25.86 from the 18. We'll see what he can do on his second time around. Brandon Kelly also on track, making his qualifying run. He's currently 18th. Scotty Oliver, lap number 2. Jumps up to the 10th spot, a 25.70. Brandon Kelly finishing up his second lap around in the number 9. Down the apron, out of turns 3 and 4 at the stripe. 17th quick for Brandon Kelly in the 9. So 20 cars have taken a lap here at the Rockingham Speedway. Brian Voss, the fastest of those. We'll see if we can't get a word from him here before we send them back, or before we send them green flag racing up in the booth. Brian Voss, you got a copy. Up in the booth, Brian Voss, you get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you. Sorry.
Oh, you're all right. All right. Race number 1 of the season, Rockingham, a little bit different of a track than we're used to seeing in these late model stocks. You're on the pole. Good lap time. What can you do to keep the 55 there throughout this race?
I think about, like, it's a broken record every season. These tracks are all about track position. Really good bunch of guys here racing. So just keep track position. Don't burn the right rear tire up and be there at the end.
Alrighty. Sounds like you've got a good plan. And obviously, no stranger to success here in the All-Star Racing League Late Model Stock Series. How does this pole, kind of set the benchmark for this season going forward? Does that get you started off on a good note?
Man, I sure hope so. Buddy came on his own tap, dispense services, new sponsor this year. Maybe looking good if I say so myself. So hopefully just back up what we did last season. Keep that success going week in, week out, stay out of trouble, and just beat her at the end of every race.
Alrighty. Well, definitely looks good. On track, 55, sitting pretty on the pole. But, Brian, we wish you luck in this 85-lap event.
Thanks, Winston.
Alrighty, folks. That was your pole sitter, Brian Voss. And now we're going to put up the grid on the left side of our screen. Or up on the top of our screen, I should say. Brian Voss on the pole in the 55. He's going to be rolling off next to Brian Gravel into the 05. Then back behind them, it's going to be Roland Collette and Brandon Elvis in row number 2. James Summers in row number 3 next to Chris Smith in the 80. Dalton Creech going to be rolling off 7th next to Zach Murphy in the 29. Then it's Connor Lee and Scotty Oliver rounding out the top 10. Kyle Odanik in the 21 starting 11th. And then Caleb Thompson rounding out your top 12 in the 04. We go further back. David Rogers starting in the 13th spot in the number 13. And then Justin Coleman in the 14 going to be starting in the 14th spot. Justin Elvis in the 44 going to be rolling off 15th next to Adam Fulford in the 17. Brandon Kelly, Tanner Hicken, Jeffrey Miller, Philip Griffith, and Kevin Prettyman going to round out our 21-car field here. As Brian Voss and Brian Gravel bringing us through turns 3 and 4. It is the final time before the start of the season. The pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack, down pit road, through the Coleman Design restart zone, and we are racing here in the Chestnut Hill Late Model Stock Series. Into turns 3 and 4. Brian Voss going to bring him up out of turn 4 and lead lap number 1. He leads Brian Gravel and Brandon Elvis as Elvis takes a bid to the inside. Everybody is still side by side here at the Rockingham Speedway. Ooh, car on the wall out back. That was the 18 machine of Scotty Oliver. Looks like everybody keeps it pointed in the right direction. But things happen quick here at the Rockingham Speedway. We'll watch them out of turns 3 and 4. But everybody fighting for every bit of track position that they can get here early on. As we look back behind, Zach Murphy underneath James Summers in the 27. Summers up top, scraped the wall a little bit out of 2. We saw that a lot last night in the Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication Super Series. The exit of 2 was a very treacherous spot for those guys, so we'll see if that has any effect here tonight. Back behind a little bit, Justin Coleman in the 14, trying to get up in front of Kyle Odanik and Connor Lee. Lee and Odanik side by side for the 9th spot. We are 5 laps into this one. The field working their way out of turns 1 and 2. Everybody's starting to get a little bit spread out. So we had a couple cars loose on the exit of 2 right there. Might be starting to get a little bit slippery already here at the Rockingham Speedway. Down the back straightaway, Odanik still underneath Lee for the 9th spot. Doesn't really seem like there's a preferred line so far, top or bottom. This looks like passing is a little bit difficult here. As up front, Brandon Elvis putting the pressure on Brian Gravel for the 2nd spot. He's down low. He's got to run down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can clear him into turns 3 and 4. It looks like he will. Brandon Elvis takes over the second spot here on lap number 7. Down the back straightaway they go. Everybody slowly getting spread out. So we see the leaders pass by, and you look right there at the battle for the 9th spot. Once again, Justin Coleman has passed both Kyle Odanik and Connor Lee. So move Justin Coleman up inside the top 10. Chris Smith in the 80 machine, dropping back a little bit. Lost some ground to Zach Murphy and Dalton Creech. Looks like James Summers is looking underneath as well. He's up front, and Brandon Elvis clear of Brian Gravel, trying to set his sights on your race leader, Brian Voss, who's doing a good job managing that gap. He's able to pull away just a little bit. Now we are 10 laps in. Voss still your race leader. So once again we look back to the battle for the 9th spot. Lee trying to get underneath Odanik. Coleman gets around Summers for the 8th position up in front of them. Dalton Creech trying to make his way underneath Zach Murphy in the 29. These cars are battling good. You've seen a lot of side-by-side action. New contact there, and Creech is into the wall. He keeps it going straight, but definitely some right front damage, and everybody having to check up. Ooh, more contact there. Connor Lee got into the left side door as Zach Murphy just trying to get that car collected going into the corner. Everybody hangs on, but a big incident right there avoided on lap number 12. Dalton Creech looks like might have just came up the track a little bit and locked cars with Zach Murphy in the 29, and they definitely both lost a lot of track position right there. One guy that is really gaining track position here in this race is Justin Coleman, up 9 positions from his 14th place starting spot. He's worked his way all the way up inside the top 5 here on lap 14. Coleman doing a good job here, making up ground early on as we look through 3 and 4. The gap is really start to show up throughout the top 10, even all the way back throughout the top 20. Everybody spread out all around the racetrack, and if this green flag run lasts long enough, we could see some lap traffic start to come into play. Right now, the last car on the lead lap, Jeffrey Miller in the 79, about 12 seconds back from your race leader, so we'll keep an eye on that gap as it gets a little bit bigger. Brian Gravel trying to get back around Roland Collette in the 82. That's the 3rd spot right there. Scotty Oliver in the 18. On the outside of Adam Fulford in the 17. It's through 3 and 4. Voss going to come up and see 17 laps in, still battling is Connor J. Lee and Kyle Odanik. They're really giving it to each other here early on. Kevin Prettyman, Brandon Kelly out back, battling for the 17th spot. Prettyman going to get around for now, but the 9 trying to cross over down low. As Brian Voss down the back straightaway has opened up just about a second advantage over second place Brandon Elvis. Both of these guys, former ASRL late model champions. Justin Coleman, also a former ASRL late model champion. He's in the 5th spot right now. All three of these guys trying to repeat that success and start out with a good run here this evening. As we go back up front, the field really starting to get spread out. Lap traffic coming into view of your race leader. I don't know who that was quite. Might have been, yes, it was Philip Griffith in the 12 machine. Run the top side, trying to just steer clear of the leaders. He's about 5 laps down. Might have had a penalty on the start, or just had to come in for an unusual circumstance, but way behind the 8 ball here in this 85 lap event. And Voss just doing what he needs to do, continuing to open up that gap. Just look at Caleb Thompson and Zach Murphy. They start to battle for the 11th spot. Murphy trying to work his way back up after that contact with Dalton Creech. Creech back up inside the top 10. He's sitting in the 10th spot right now. As we are 25 laps into this one. Voss still your leader from the get-go. So far, no caution flags. We've gone green for 25 laps here at the Rockingham Speedway. I think it's about time for a WD Broadcasting Network crank it up. We'll go on board with some of the drivers, mix it up with some different around the track cameras. But we're going to crank it up here. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab a drink of water. You won't miss a thing on True Sim Productions. Folks, we are back here on True Sim Productions. You saw a battle right there going on for the 6th spot. Connor Lee is caught up to Chris Smith in the 80 machine. And they're starting a battle right here. Kyle Odanik right up there as well. Him and Connor Lee have been right there next to each other this whole entire race. As 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. Dalton Creech again sideways up the racetrack. Looked like there was contact with the 17 of Adam Fulford right there. But everybody able to keep it going. Another big moment there for Dalton Creech in the 36. He's had a couple of those this race. As Odanik still working underneath. Summers in the 27. Still can't make the pass off the corner. It's looking very tough to pass here at Rockingham. With these late model stocks and the crate motor, just not enough power to really outdrive the car on, or the other car on the bottom. Kind of have to hope they get tied up top. It's Caleb Thompson and Zach Murphy continuing to battle for the 10th spot. Up in front of them, Chris Smith has company from Connor Lee in the 8 machine on the bottom. Looks like Smith going to have to give way for now. And the 8 is cleared down the front straightaway. So move Connor Lee up to the 6th spot. Now, if we look over at the left side of our screen, that is the last lap times. So we'll get a look at who's the fastest car on the racetrack still. Brian Voss, your pole sitter, setting a pretty quick pace in the 55. Some other guys starting to drop off slowly. But Voss definitely the clear favorite as far as speed goes. Thing just looks glued to the bottom as he comes out of turns 3 and 4. 34 laps in. As Brandon Kelly, last car on the lead lap, about 23 seconds back, so about 2 seconds ahead of your race leader. And he's got Jeffrey Miller right there in front of him. So your race leader, Ryan Voss, is starting to close in on lap traffic. Will it be a factor in the gap between him and Brandon Elvis? Maybe not as much, but the chance of an incident could definitely be higher than Voss is seeing for the beginning part of this race. As once again, Odanik and Summers still side by side. Nearly contact there on the front stretch. This is just the battle for the 8th spot here, folks. We are still shy of halfway, so a lot of exciting racing still left to happen. As Odanik looks to have the advantage out of turns 3 and 4. We'll see if he can clear the 27 of Summers. It looks like he will, so move Kyle Odanik up into the 8th spot. He has had to really work for some of these passes here early on. As Brian Gravel has gotten back around Roland Collette for the 3rd spot. Collette's still right there, though, ready to pounce. As Summers has gotten back around Odanik once again. Odanik on the bottom side trying to recomplete this pass. As we've got one down pit road trying to throw a wrench in the strategy. Dalton Creech trying to undercut everybody. We'll see if he is able to make up any track position here. But Dalton Creech, the first driver to make his way down pit road. We'll see if anybody else elects to follow. As Creech makes his way to his box. Surely just going to be right side tires on the 36. But is anybody else going to follow him? Not looking like Brian Voss wanting to pull the trigger just yet. He wants to be the USA Firearms halfway leader. As Dalton Creech has made his way out of the pits and completed his pit cycle. Brian Voss going to come around to lap number 43. And that will make him the USA Firearms halfway leader at halfway. And so far, we have been clean and green here at the Rockingham Speedway. Still nobody electing to come down pit road just yet. Zach Murphy in the 29. Right up on the back bumper of Caleb Thompson in the 04, trying to get back around. Murphy going to have to fall back in line, try and get a better run next time around. As we look in on the battle for the third spot, Roland Collette right there once again on the back bumper of Brian Gravel. They've got Dalton Creech in front of them as well. And these cars are looking a little bit tougher to hold down to the bottom. We'll see if anybody has trouble getting off the corner, but it looks like some of these drivers might be starting to develop a little bit of a slide off the corner. It's just making them a little bit tighter, and that's where we're seeing some of these passes happen. As race leader down pit road, Brian Voss said, yep, it's time to go. He brings the 55 down into the pits. Is anybody else going to come down with him? We will have to see. But that's going to hand the race lead over to Brandon Elvis. We'll see if he follows him in this lap. Looks like Elvis going to stay out on the racetrack. Try and outrun them a little bit. Roland Collette in the 82 down pit road. I like this move out of the 82 behind Gravel in the 05. Doesn't want to get stuck behind him during this pit cycle. So he's going to bring it down pit road. Zach Murphy, Caleb Thompson battling once again. Murphy underneath in the 29. Thompson up top in the 04, trying to do everything he can to pinch that 29 car down. But still nobody else coming down pit road. 3 cars so far have made their way down. Brandon Elvis, your race leader currently. Zach Murphy down pit road in the 29. I'm not quite sure if these guys are pitting off of strategy or pitting off of just running it out of gas, but we'll have to see. Brandon Elvis still stretching this fuel run a little bit longer. Another car coming down pit road, Kyle O'Danick in the 21. He's probably very happy to get some new right side tires on that machine. He's been battling hard this race. As more drivers entering pit road, Caleb Thompson coming down right here. And surely it's got to be getting close to the Hornets' nest where everybody wants to come down pit road at the same time. Right now, it looks like Brian Voss, out of the drivers that have been down pit road and made their way out, Brian Voss looks to have kept the race lead. We'll see if he can keep it throughout the remainder of the run. He just set the fastest lap of the race. Tanner Hicken in the 71 down pit road. Oh, he spins it on the apron. Will that be a caution flag? Looks like he'll keep it down below the racing surface, so caution flag gonna stay away for now. As up front, Brandon Elvis continuing to click away laps. He'll see 30 laps to go at the line this time around. Still on the racetrack. Your top 12 drivers have not came to pit road just yet, so keep that in mind. Cars running all over the racetrack. Current lineup of your top 5. Brandon Elvis in the lead in the 54. He's got Brian Gravel in the 05 behind him. About 3 seconds back. Then it's another 2 seconds back to Justin Coleman in the 14. Then Connor Lee 1.5 seconds behind Coleman. And rounding out the top 5 is Chris Smith, about 2.5 seconds back. Again, so big deficit throughout your top 5 and really throughout your field. A lot of drivers on different strategy, different points in the run, different level of tire saving, obviously. Some drivers can do it better than others. But still under green here. We're about 60 laps in. So we're getting close to the end of this one. Elvis trying to stretch this fuel run out as long as he can. His bed's really been made. He's going to have to wait for a caution flag or come down on the very last possible lap to try and lose his minimal time as much as he can. Kevin Prettyman in the 88 machine. He's up 11 spots from the drop of the green into the top 10. As we have 25 laps to go at the line. 24 right here. Brandon Elvis still out front. The cars behind a little bit quicker though. Brian Gravel in the 05 and Justin Coleman running a little bit faster lap times that last lap around. But still nobody electing to bring it down pit road just yet. And 23 laps to go, still no caution flag. These guys doing a great job keeping them clean and green. Dalton Creech, Zach Murphy battling once again. This is for the 16th spot on track right now. As up front, Brandon Elvis still on the racetrack. Not looking like anybody's showing signs of pitting soon. He's got a really big lead over Oh, the yellow flag is out. Justin Elvis crashes in the 44. Kevin Prettyman involved as well, and that is exactly what Brandon Elvis wanted to see. He's going to have the track position to come down pit road and be able to get tires and fuel. So we'll try and take a look at what happened to the 44 of Justin Elvis. You see Kevin Prettyman in front of him in turns 1 and 2. Looks like off the corner. Oh, I think Prettyman might have tried to come down the track to come to the pits, and Elvis was just right there, and there was nowhere for him to go. But under caution for the first time here this evening. And surely your race leaders are going to drop down pit road right here. And we will have to see where everybody stacks up after these pit stops. I think everybody's going to come down, take 2 tires for the final 15 or so laps. But after the first 60 laps were green, caution flag at lap 61. We are under yellow with 19 laps to go. We're going to take a quick step away here on at True Sim Productions. I am your host, Winston Deal. We'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, we are back. And the field is in the hands of James Summers and Brandon Elvis as they work down the back straightaway. The lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car. And with just over 15 laps to go, the field working their way through turns 3 and 4. We've only had 1 caution flag so far this race. Will we see more? We're going to find out. The pace car down pit road through the Coleman Designs restart zone, and we are back racing here at Rockingham. A good jump for James Summers into turns 1 and 2 as they work their way through the corner. Elvis going to bring it back strong on the inside lane. Couple of drivers into the outside wall. I think everybody keeps it going in the right direction, though. But But into turns 3 and 4, new race leader Brandon Elvis with 16 coming to 15 laps to go. As Justin Coleman and Kevin Prettyman crash down the front straightaway into turns, or I guess into pit road. But the caution flag does not fly. We stay green for now. So here comes Brian Gravel in the second spot. The 05 machine. He's starting to track down your race leader, Brandon Elvis. We'll see if he has anything here in the closing stages. So there's battling going on all inside the top 10. James Summers, though, has not came down pit road in the 27. I think he's going to have to, or he will run out of fuel. And we'll see if he can keep this track position. As Brandon Elvis in the 54 machine starting to put some laps in place and open up that gap a little bit to the 05 of Brian Gravel. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. 12 laps to go at the line. Although that time right there, Connor Lee in the 8 has set an even faster lap. Are the drivers behind starting to figure something out and track down Brandon Elvis? We'll find out as we come back to 11 laps to go. Chris Smith in the 80 machine working his way around. James Summers for the 4th spot. But Elvis right now with 10 laps to go. A little bit quicker than Brian Gravel that last lap. Gravel's got Connor Lee right on his back bumper. Does Lee have anything to say about it? Can he get to the inside of Brian Gravel and make a run here at the top spot? Here he goes. Connor Lee tucks to the inside of Brian Gravel into turns 1 and 2. Battle for the second spot is on. Lee has speed in that 8 machine. Don't know what he found there, but he is charging forward in a hurry here, coming to 8 laps to go. It looks like he's going to be clear of Brian Gravel, so give the second spot over to Connor Lee into turns 1 and 2. 8 laps to go. Can he track down your race leader, Brandon Elvis, and steal one here at Rockingham? Seven laps to go now. Connor Lee trying to track down your race leader, Brandon Elvis. Will put the laps up, or the times up from the last time around. You see Connor Lee a little bit quicker. The fastest car on the racetrack is that number 8 machine. We come back to 6 laps to go. Does he have anything left? Once again, quicker that time. 0.3 of a second the difference. You see the gap right there. On their lap times, 0.1 of a second. So 6 laps to go. He's going to catch him with a couple laps remaining. Will he be able to make the pass? And will Brandon Elvis give it up easy? 5 to go at the line. And Lee, once again, quicker by about 0.1 of a second. The fastest lap of the race that last time around. The 8 machinist got something figured out here with 5 coming back to 4 laps to go. Can he put a move on the 54 of Brandon Elvis and steal one here? He is closing. No car length separating the two anymore. 4 laps to go. Elvis going to have to defend with everything he's got here at the Rockingham Speedway. Down the back straightaway, looks like the 8 machine slipped up there a little bit. The 54 is going to have some breathing room. But what does Connor Lee have left in the tank? Coming around to 3 laps to go. He's hooking that yellow line and really getting a run to the back bumper. Can he do anything into turns 1 and 2? Tries to peek to the inside. Doesn't quite get there. Times nearly identical that last time around. Can Connor Lee find a way to get around the 54 of Brandon Elvis? Into turns 3 and 4 one more time. 2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are up here at the Rockingham Speedway. What can Brandon Elvis do to hold off Connor Lee? As the 8 machine has been able to get good runs up off the corner, is he going to have a good enough run to get there and make the pass? We'll see. Into turns 3 and 4. Nearly contact right there on the back bumper is Connor Lee. Up and out of the corner. White flag going to be out at the line. Elvis going to try and block down low. Up to the top side goes Lee. Lee into the wall. Into turns 1 and 2. They go through the bumps. Down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Connor Lee going to have one more stab out of here into turns 3 and 4. Down to the back straightaway they go. White flag is out. Lee tries to go to the bottom side of the racetrack. Elvis going to have to give way a little bit. Nearly contact. Drag race to the line. And it's going to be Brandon Elvis winning at the Rockingham Speedway. Brandon Elvis wins a barn burner here at the Rockingham Speedway. Connor Lee, 9/100ths of a second shy of winning the season opener here at the Rockingham Speedway. A great race there. One caution flag the entire race. Brandon Elvis from the 4th place starting position going to pick up the victory in race number 1. And we'll drive it through the grass into victory lane. 10 cars finishing on the lead lap. And we're going to take a quick step away here, folks, on True Sim Productions before we grab a word from our top 3 finishers and wrap up the rest of our event here at the Rockingham Speedway. We appreciate everybody who's stuck with us to this point. We'll be right back before we wrap things up. I'm your host, Winston Deal. We are back here on True Sim Productions. Gonna grab a word from our top 3 finishers, starting with our 3rd place finisher, Brian Gravel in the 05. As we'll see if he's got a copy up in the booth. Brian Gravel, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, you started from the 2nd spot here tonight. You battled with Roland Collette for quite a while during that big green flag run, and he dropped down into the pits. He kind of stayed there in that 2nd spot, and then that caution came out. You were able to come down, get tires, and just not quite enough left in the tank there at the end. 3rd place finish, though, still a great run here in the season opener.
Yes, sir. I just didn't push hard enough. I should have pushed all the way through that last stint. Just didn't really have the tires for it there. and just kept getting tight in 1 and 2. But other than that, had a great car. Car felt great.
Yeah, you said got a little bit tight on the exit of 1 and 2, and it looked like that's what the reoccurring issue with a couple other guys was. I saw a lot of contact with the outside wall in 1 and 2. I saw it last night as well in the Super Series, but still a great race for you. 3rd place spot. Is there anybody that you have to thank that helped get you on the podium here tonight?
Oh yeah, I'd like to thank Bub's Outbrook Podcast, Elite Performance Industries, Scrub Out Cancer, and I got a lot on this car. I don't really all remember it, but those are the main guys that really helped me, especially EPI, man. They've been helping me a lot, getting better and better.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you and everybody helping out in the 05 crew. But congratulations on your 3rd place finish once again.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. That was your 3rd place finisher, Brian Gravel. Now we'll talk to our 2nd place finisher, Connor Lee, up in the booth. You got a copy.
Gotcha.
Alrighty, well, you started in the 9th spot here tonight. You battled with Kyle Odanik for what seemed to be the first half of the race, but after that caution flag, you had some track position to work with. You made your way around Brian Gravel, and you had your sights set on Brandon Elvis. Nearly got around him, just ran out of time there.
Yeah, it was really fun there. Kind of like you said, ran a 6-hour race, but once I kind of got clear, I noticed that I could kind of keep pace with the leaders, relatively wise. But yeah, so I decided to take 2 tires that last restart, get some track position, and felt like, man, I was really figured something out. But when you draw close enough to, the car in front of you, it kind of get tight, shove the nose, and he was able to make it just difficult enough for me. I couldn't get around him there.
Yeah, definitely a good battle there to close out a good race. Only 1 caution, and you just kept your nose clean and made it there to the end and ended up with a 2nd place finish. Going into a 12-race season, 2nd place in week number 1, definitely nothing to hang your head about. But is there anybody that you have to thank that helped get you on the podium here tonight?
This was actually my first race here with these guys at all, and my man David Rogers there, he's the one that told me about it. And like you said, it was a good race, nice, clean, it was fun. So pretty much him, just David telling me about it, and thank you, Brandon, and you and all these guys who put it on. It was a really good time.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you on your 2nd place finish in your debut here in the All-Star Racing League.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, folks, well, that was your 2nd place finisher, and now to once again talk to the man of the hour, Brandon Elvis. You got a copy.
Hey, buddy.
Alrighty, well, you qualified in the 4th spot, and you battled up front for the majority of the race. You were in that 2nd position quite a while on that initial green flag run. Elected to not come down and get tires over the course of the green flag run. Let everybody else make their green flag pit stops. Luckily, you had a caution, came down, got some tires, and just played really good defense. Tell me how your race went.
Yeah, man, I was actually hoping there wouldn't be a caution. I mean, it was good to go to the end. I was starting to pick up speed right there, right before the caution came out. So I was kind of hoping it wouldn't come out. My tires are good and balanced. So I was happy with it, But no, I think Voss pitted because he had to get on baby duty, or thought he did at least. I think that's the only reason he came down pit road.
Oh, okay. For a minute, I thought we were having a fuel strategy race because there was a bunch of guys coming down pit road, and I thought, man, are they all going to run out up front and look like the NASCAR race a couple weeks ago? But you guys all kept fueling it. Obviously, you came down and got tires there at the end, kind of helped the handling, I'm sure, on that final green flag run. But really good defense. I thought 100% Connor Lee was going to get to you, or he obviously got to you, but I thought he was going to 100% get around you and make something work. But you did a really good job holding him off.
Yeah, man, I kind of had to blot there, but I really wanted to win, and it was going to come down to it. If he would have got underneath me, I would have just let him go, or let him get underneath me. I wouldn't have, if he would have ever got in position. But I knew I had to keep him kind of aero tight behind me. So if I could keep him on my bumper, at least going into corner, he would get kind of tight. He would kind of shove the nose in, and that will give me a little bit of breathing room. But I couldn't take any chances to let him get air on his nose, really.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot of speed there at the end of the race. Found something that a couple of the guys up front were missing out on earlier on. But nonetheless, a great run for you here tonight. Picking up your first victory of the season. Going to go a long way, I'm sure. But is there anybody that you have to thank that helped get you the victory here tonight?
Yes, my wife, my mom, my dad, Coleman Design, Chestnut Hill, the restaurant, Mr. Chris Lee for putting this thing on for us. We really appreciate him in the league, and our gratitude is, we got a lot of gratitude for him. Like I said, Coleman Design, Braille's Performance, Chestnut Hill, the restaurant, Shotgun Racing Performance, Coastal Performance. The list goes on and on. WD Broadcasting, All-Star Racing League, Dalton and the gang, everybody. Thanks for helping us with the still here. We had a really good showing, and I'm grateful.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Brandon, on your first of probably many, I'm assuming, victories of this season. We will look forward to seeing you.
At least we got one, right?
Yeah, you got one. You can't say you got stumped this season, but I'm sure you're going to be chasing more, and we'll see you back in victory lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. That was your race winner, Brandon Elvis. And before we wrap things up here at the Rockingham Speedway, we'll go ahead and show you guys our full schedule for the season. As we'll see right here. I also forgot to put this on for the top 3 interviews. I do apologize. Dalton Creech, he's going to be on me about that. But here is your schedule for the season. If I can get it up. There we go. Rockingham this week. Great racing from both series. Remember, this is the schedule for the late model and super late model portions of the All-Star Racing League. But Rockingham this week. New Smyrna next week, going to be a fun one. 5 Flags, a race that I'm very much looking forward to. Just a really action-packed schedule that you guys are not going to want to miss. But nonetheless, we'll end things out with the results up on screen. So there are your race results, your top 18 competitors. Brandon Elvis, Connor Lee, Brian Gravel, Chris Smith, David Rogers, Brian Voss, Adam Fulford, Scott Oliver, and James Summers. And then Jeffrey Miller rounding out your top 10. A couple guys with some tough breaks here tonight. But unfortunately, that is just part of racing. But nonetheless, I think that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight at the Rockingham Speedway. We thank you to everybody who tuned in for tonight's ASRL Chestnut Hill Late Model Stock Series season opener. We hope everybody has a good rest of their evening. We hope to see you guys back next week at New Smyrna. And while I'm at it, we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night on the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook for the Leave the Pack iRacing League Street Stock Showdown Race 2 of their season at the Bull Ring. Going to be an action-packed night. You won't want to miss it. But nonetheless, thank everybody for watching. That's going to be it for me. I am your host, Winston Deal, from the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook, signing off. Peace.